Okay, so I finished my Advanced Heroquest build. This is the whole content from the box. You can see it here with the tokens for monsters and characters, dungeon dressing tiles, adventure books, rules, extra overland map, right? Additional reference sheets, the whole 9 yards. So had a blast building this. Let's talk about it a little more in depth, and just fair warning, it's a little bit of a long video. So hopefully I don't ramble too horribly on about it, but you know. All right. Go. Advanced HeroQuest 2nd edition. So this is a game build that I was very excited to get into. If you're familiar with my channel and my stuff, you know that I did Advanced HeroQuest, the original build on that one. Big build, couple of videos, lots of stuff with it, right? 1-inch squares, standees, all that kind of goodness. Dieter de Geiter has since put together sort of a rewrite of the enhanced Advanced HeroQuest rules and streamlined that streamlining of the original rules, which added Terror in the Dark rules expansions and all of that stuff too. So Dieter's added some more things to that, created another adventure book that has all of the white dwarf adventures in it as well. And really, I think, has made it a lot more accessible, in my opinion. Anyway, motivated me completely to redo the build, and I've augmented this one to and taken some artistic license, if you will, to fit all of that content in one box versus you know, the other one, which was multiple gigantic boxes. And you'll see what I did here with that. All right, let's get into it and kind of take a look at some things here. So first off, we have the hero cards, right? So these are Elf Scout, and these are the hero abilities, right? Heroic abilities that you'll earn. You'll have an opportunity as your character advances to spend some fate, perhaps, spend some gold, get trained. Elf Scout, here is the Human Wizard, the Human Witch Hunter, the Elf Mage, Human Warrior Priest. All right, sign me up for that one. Dwarf Rune Smith, Elf Sentinel, Human Knight, the Human Barbarian, Elf Fighter Mage, that'll be fun. Dwarf Warrior, of course, and the Slayer. Dwarf Engineer, and then, of course, I've got a couple of player aids here. Black powder weapon tables, hand-to-hand weapons, and ranged weapons and armor, just to make the game flow a little bit easier and make looking things up snap. So that's where we're going to start there. And then let's take a look at the tiles here. Lots to say about these tiles. I've got other tiles, right? The main tiles are from Advanced HeroQuest Nouvelle Generation, and they are the Carrick Varn tile set. I'll talk more about those here in a second. But these tiles, first of all, there is a lightning bolt for spells for your heroes. But here we've got, what is this? The Wizard's Library, the treasure room, right? And then these guys here, these are some of the other adventure tiles for the different adventures. Terror in the Dark came with a couple of tiles, and that's what these are representing here. Dieter de Geiter put these together, and this is his sort of color variation on his tiles too. He did a fantastic job with these, so really excited to get that to the table. And then Slauramir, I'm gonna murder the name, sorry. Slauramir Canal, I believe it's the way you pronounce it, has created these. He does these maps. These are called Lost Maps. If you do hit a quick little Google, you can get these on Drive-Thru RPG as well. So if you're familiar with Advanced HeroQuest and you have an opportunity and you find a trap door in your adventure in one of the rooms. You can climb down, and if you roll exactly right through multiple tables, you'll find the maze. So I thought it would be cool to do a double-sided version of that, where we could have a sewers on the bottom of that one too, just with the Skaven as a main sort of enemy source for AHQ. It made good sense to do that. So there we go. All right, and then here, I have to think that this is probably one of the things I'm most excited about. I was working with Floris Verhoege on a map, putting this together, and started to chat with Dita de Gaita about it as well. We just made a few little changes to it, and this map came into being. And it is a full campaign tracker, as you can see there, and as you can go through and put all of the White Dwarf adventures into order. And then there's an adventure book that will line up with events and different things based on where you are in the terrain, etc. So for hex crawl type of a situation, really excited about that. All right, my guys, my gals, let's take a look. Oh, yes, tokens. Here we are. Next aspect. Tokens. So in the game, as you are hunting for treasures and you're hunting for secret doors based on a certain die roll, the GM then can be drawing these tokens, right? I'm going to be mostly playing solo, and through conversations with Dieter about, hey, we should probably do this. And I had created a rule augmentation, right? A house rule myself to use these for solo play. And so Dieter's included one in the rulebook, and it is fantastic. So I'm going to be utilizing that for sure. And then these cards, these are the monster cards for all of the monsters in the game here. And these actually came from RetroQuest, sorry. So Floris Verhoege has created these, and so highly recommend those. Just kind of add a little fun to the game as well. So there we go. All right, let's get into these books. We've got all of the books. So first and foremost, an additional GM sheet, a larger sheet, player's reference sheet here as well, to keep the game flow going well. And this is really going to be sort of a lot of explanation on these. Now, the rule set, the rule book, if you've seen the other video that I did about rolling out the rules, I decided to pivot on those, believe it or not. So the ones that I had printed out originally had the sort of map stained paper kind of aesthetic to it, right? And then other folks in the community were asking, hey, can we have a white version? And so of course Dieter de Geiter put together a white version. Having looked at that, I really have decided that I like it probably better. So it's still color, right? And it's in here, lists all of the components. Everything is just very much clearer, I think, right, from the original enhanced Advanced Heroquest rulebook. The rules explanation is a little clearer. Like I said, I think it's a lot more accessible. In here, talks about the end of phases, death zones, all that kind of stuff in here as well. And then we start getting the wizards, opening them up. So now you get the spell book on the pages, right? As it's opening up, you're opening up that spell book. How cool is that in here? So, and then we have the hazards tables in here. And look, it's just beautiful, beautiful book here. So really liking that. And I think what I was talking about originally, right, were the solo rules. Let's see if I can find where that is. I think that it is. Dun, 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 dun. Goes to you. 132. Here we go. So we go and we look. Yeah. Creating heroes, heroic abilities, page 132. Here we go. So solo rules. And so without counters here, right? And then with counters here, and what the counters implicate to you when you draw them, and as you're playing the game. Really cool, sort of an idea about playing it solo, and I'm very excited to get it going. Shattered Amulet Matrix, right? And Tomorrow's Bane are in here, just like the original rules were. And then here we have the Book of Adventures. Now, this is one where I think it was originally intended for the books and the adventures to all be a part of one book, right? And I think initially when I printed it out, I had them all together in one book. And then I just really started thinking about that some more and thought, wouldn't it be cool just to do a handful of modules? So that is what I did there. So so what's in here then? Well, let's take a look, because this is a different sort of layout than the way that this book I think originally comes, right? So let's talk about this for just a second. Okay, so here we are, Book of Adventures. So when you first open this one, and I went ahead with the white pages on this one too. Again, I really love the white layout on this one. You get the map in here for quick reference, right? And you can kind of look at it there. And then table of contents here, and it lays down all the adventures where they are. If you were to do all of the adventures within the book, like it's really supposed to be put together. So this is the one where I took some license with, right? So world travel in here explains how the map works for you. A grassland table, so when you are on the grasslands in here, and you're moving about, you're going to roll. In each little hex is 1 week's worth of travel. So it's going to take you a while to move across this map, right? And so rolling for world travel events. We've got grasslands, forests, and mountain tables in here. So really cool way to look at that. Adventure as you go across the land. And then so with that, so that's the main part of the adventure book, right, in terms of that hex crawl. I have found a couple of other sort of third-party adventures for HeroQuest that I decided to put here, and some other ideas and thoughts in terms of maybe mixing it up later, and some different ways to play the game is what's in the remainder of this book. So we have, this one is the quest for the vampire's lair, and it gives you the layout here. And the idea behind this guy is, in tonight's quest, we are in search of the vampire's lair to rid these lands of undead menaces, right? Or the undead menace, you know. I'm all about artistic license in terms of reading it. Anywho, the local villagers believe there is a plague among them, but some of us are convinced there is a vampire living in the crypt of the abandoned castle just northeast of Dead Rock Gap. So anyway, you gather your crew, you head out to do battle with vampires and undeads. And then here is the Matrix sort of information for all of the bad meanies that you're going to be facing. The matrices there. This one is Escape the Necromancer's Dungeon. This one is great. Played this a couple of times, where you are already in the dungeon and you're escaping, trying to find your equipment and then get the heck out of there, right? And then the Escape the Necromancer's pantheon of critters that you're going to be fighting, the undead matrices, right, again. And there you have that, all right? Quest for the Great Horde of the Clan Skyer, a Skaven Matrix, of course, adventure in here. So these were my own rules here that I had written for solo, and I need to kind of maybe go back to these and rework them just a smidgen. And then Enhanced HeroQuest cheat sheet to look at that and see how that's changed in here. And then this is alternative rules for HeroQuest Furniture and Advanced HeroQuest. This, my friends, has been sort of combined already into the main rulebook. So I haven't compared them yet to see what's different, but excited about how this adds a little bit more playability with all of the furniture pieces, right? And then quick references for HeroQuest, but this really is an alignment. All of these tables in here for different monsters. You can really go to town with this in terms of creating any sort of monster sort of versus dungeon kind of a deal that you wanted to have in here, right? The village trader, scribe seller, so lots of different ideas in terms of shops. And here we go, we've got more tables in here. So man, there's a lot of stuff. Someone recently posted between expeditions expanded rules, and haven't read all of this one yet either, but I decided to just kind of add it here. And I like the addition of more tables and more options to have in terms of that hex crawl, right? So that's what this is all about, and that's how I intend to kind of look at that and utilize that. And then, of course, Beyond the Grey Mountains. This is a Warhammer Quest hex travel, hex, my goodness, hex crawl rule piece, right? Again, more traveling hazards in here. And so as I'm really kind of getting into it, I might kind of be going back and forth in terms of these overland travels and the hex pieces. But I just kind of sort of added those additional pieces in there just to kind of have them available, and so I know where they're at. And I may or may not implement any of them and just go with the way things are written in the main rule book. But that is what currently makes up my book of adventures. So here then are all of the other adventures, and I've taken these, put them together in individual modules in here. Tomorrow's Bane, Rivers of Blood. The other piece to these now, just so that you know, is that there are a lot of different tiles that are available, and Dieter de Geiter has worked up for these adventures specifically. They're not necessarily required, and you can see here on all of the adventures, but some of them have very specific tiles, right? So I just decided that I wasn't going to put together these additional tiles, but you can see here there's an additional giant tile that you could create, and as an example, Quest for the Lickmaster. This is one, I think. There's that guy. Yeah. So what was a good one? I think, Shattered Amlet, I think had a good one. Let's take a look where it had additional boards and things like this, right? So I haven't printed out any of these special boards, is what I'm trying to get to. And I may or may not do that with the adventure, since I feel like it'll work fine to not have all that specialized tile work. But I guess time will tell, and we'll see how it goes. Also added the Manor of Asmodine, and so this is one that utilizes the HeroQuest board here, and augmented with the long objective room tiles on there. So kind of exciting to look at that. Really cool. I have played this a couple of times, and it is definitely difficult. The Axe of Gorm. So this is one that I came across on the interwebs years ago, and have finally been able to blow this up and get it printed properly and put together. So excited to look at that. And then, of course, this is another adventure that Dieter de Geiter, the Dark Necropolis, holy moly! The Dark Necropolis here, which Dieter de Geiter has converted over from a Warhammer Quest adventure. So really super flippin' cool there. And then, here we are, the Bestiary. So this is another piece of the adventure book that I decided to pull out, and so that I can just have quick reference to the monsters and all of their stats, and a little bit of blurb about all of those things. All right, we are getting to the meat of the whole situation here, and that is the tokens and the dungeon dressing. All right, I almost forgot. Before we jump on into the tokens and the dungeon dressing, little tile additions, augmentations, right? I wanted to just kind of share the map with the overland hex piece, right? So have here a 15 millimeter little dude, and as you move him through, you're going to be rolling. And then if we're having an adventure, or we're having an event, right, that happens in the grassland or the forest or the mountains, I created these tiles here. You could do either a small engagement here like so, or a larger engagement. I felt like having at least two would be great to kind of put those together for those types of events. So just wanted to kind of share that because I'm kind of excited about this piece as I'm adventuring around the land and getting ready to go from dungeon to dungeon to see if my group of heroes can go through and complete 1 through 10 like that. So, okay, so now let's take a look. So this is all of the heroes and all of the monsters all combined here. Let's start by just taking some of these dudes out so we can kind of take a look here. So here are all of the trays with all of those in it, and then the tray for damage markers, and I've got some more dice ordered and on the way that are going to go in there as well, and then the actual tiles and the dungeon dressing little tile overlays here. So let's take a look at the monster tokens and the hero tokens. So these tokens, you guys, actually come from Broadsword, and as a set of tokens that I purchased for that game, and decided that I would go ahead and you can see that there if it's in focus, so decided to, for Broadsword, I went ahead and created them as planned in terms of a square kind of token, and then just started messing around with the idea of a 1/2 inch circle, right? Here is a vampire. How cool is that? And the Skaven are something that I kind of got online and made myself. So I'm not the best at this kind of thing, but I feel like perhaps they came out all right. So, and then, the rat ogres on here too, and different sort of rats and that kind of thing. So here we've got undead, we've got skeletons and mummies and zombies are in here, and that kind of thing. They're greenskins here, cultists, and just bad meanies and vampires, right? This one is made up, these are all the heroes here, and a couple of different sort of spell overlays, tokens here for cold, for hot. The main one here for spells that blow up. And then here we go. So I'm looking at this, right, and you can have these as chaos agents, and I think, what are they called? The Cinch, I forget how to pronounce that name, but beast monsters and lizard critters and all kinds of things like that. So now my sort of thought process about all of these monster tokens is they're not exactly perfect, right? In terms of, does it look really like the picture or whatnot? Which it doesn't really necessarily have to be, I don't think, but as long as it's close enough, and I know who is representing what, right? I'm sure that you've all done that in terms of utilizing tokens or miniatures or that kind of thing. So that is the hero and monster sort of rundown. Let's take a look at the dungeon dressing and the and the actual tiles for this thing, right? So here we go. We have that and this one, and then all right, we'll just take them all out here. You can see how everything fits together. I'm just a big fan of organizing my games and making it easy to kind of get to the table and to put away and all of that kind of stuff too, right? So these tiles, man, if you just look at the detail in these with the skulls on there, the way that the cracks in the tiles are just sort of made, right? It's just really great. That's the back side. Here is the, look at that. Someone lost an arm. Oh my God. Got that. Here's another stretch of hallway with skeletons in it. like so. There's a couple of cells, right? Little prison cells here, like that. These are from Carrick Varn, you guys, and Advanced Heroquest Nouvelle Generation put these together, and just did an amazing job with this. And I just think these are probably some of the most beautiful tiles that I have seen here. And then I also have little doors that I had help with printing these out. Actually, Flores Verwage helped me to put this file together, and then my brother helped me print them out. So thanks to the community, right? That is how it works. So there we go. Just like that. So that is the hallway, right? The passageways and the passageway endings, the doors here, secret doors, portcullises, and then trap doors are in there as well. Okay, let's take a look here at the dungeon dressing sort of overlays, right? This particular tray is all about the sort of biological hazards, right, that we're going to be experiencing. We've got our chasms here and our water flows and that kind of thing here. We've got pits here, right, and then we've got pools, water pools there, and funguses and mushrooms, etc., and then cave-ins and different blockades that are happening there, right? And then here we've got all of the overlays for tables, fireplaces, the torture racks, and all the kind of fun things. The tombs, right? Dead bodies and statues, all the good stuff. Traps are in here, and treasure chests, boxes, and barrels are there. So that is rounding out sort of the dungeon dressing piece here. And then we get right into the tiles. Now, these are the actual tiles for this Carrick Varn set. And let me just kind of share these right quick. I really love the look of these guys here. Check that out. Isn't that awesome? Here we go. And there's one there. Really cool tile set here. So just love those. And this one here, this is the small rooms, right? Really cool tile set. So if you have an opportunity to go look at that, it's on the old inn is where those are listed. And then here you have the stairways down, stairways up, all kinds of stairways in here, big size, small size, you name it. Oh, wow. So that, my friends, is the whole build.